gonna kick things off on a positive note, on a negative note, I should say. With we're gonna kick things off with Obi-Wan. Now, I started obviously watching the season. You guys know how I feel about it, so I decided to finish watching the last 2 episodes, and you know, what can I say? A mediocre show overall. You know, episode 5 and 6 were a slight improvement over what I saw before, but it wasn't enough to make the show worth recommending or worth revisiting. The writing is very poor. It's the worst part of the show is the writing. I feel bad that Ewan McGregor had to return to this. It's also a bit of a bait and switch. This show, the story is more about Leia and Reva than it is about Obi-Wan. You know, the fight scene with Vader was all good, but it's still a shitty show. You know, it's some of the worst TV I've seen in years. There were parts of the show that felt very 80s, you know. Ewan McGregor did a fantastic job acting, you know. The woman who plays Reva, forget her last name, but I know her first name is Moses. I think she did the best with what she was given, and she wasn't given much. In fact, she was given some very, very bad dialogue, bad direction. The story it just didn't make any sense. They brought Obi-Wan and Leia so close together in the show that if you go and look at A New Hope now, it just doesn't make sense. It's almost like somebody gave her a mind wipe. Their sheer disregard for continuity is, to me, lazy, careless, and does not deserve any kind of positive recognition whatsoever. Whoever is writing this show does not know the lore of Star Wars, or does not care, or maybe both. The show is a complete, it's just garbage. Overall, it's garbage. It's just low effort. I think any one of us in here could have done a better job. And while, like I said, the Vader and the Obi-Wan fight scene, I mean, of course, that's good. But that's what they use to lure you in. They use that to lure you in because they know people are fiending to see that. And they know that no matter how much you hate the show, you'll come back just to see that. The story here is about Reva. Now, I don't care. Look, we've seen some very crazy villains go out there and do horrendous things like Vader and have a redemption arc. What makes Vader's redemption arc so appealing is it took 6 movies for it to happen. When you start off with, you know, if you look at the first, you know, episode 1 all the way through episode 6, you see started off as an innocent young boy, Jedi powers, gets corrupted, is so desperate to save somebody he loves that he becomes a villain, and always present was that small little inkling of hope that his son eventually brought out of him. And while he can't fully redeem all the horrific things he did the most important thing. He brought balance to the Force, as it was predicted, you know? And he killed the Emperor, or at least so we thought until Disney fucked that up. There's no room in this story to give Reva an arc that is redeeming in any way, shape, or form. Even if you cared about her as a character, even if she was a good character that you wanted to see more of, it will take time for her to redeem what she has done. Hanging Jedi in the courtyard, cutting a woman's hand off, whatever other things she did. You can't just flip the switch. You can't just tell me that this whole time she's been undercover, so to speak. And yes, maybe she had to do horrible things to keep her secret, but I don't know. It looked like she enjoyed it just a little too much. I kind of feel like the writers wanted it to be a twist nobody saw coming, but it wasn't a twist that nobody saw coming. It was essentially just the flip of a coin, without any kind of build up, without any kind of remorse prior to that. If they had done some of the episodes where when she's doing those bad things, you show her alone, remorseful, I think that would have been better than trying to hold a secret and then reveal that she's a good guy, so to speak. Completely and utter trash, this show. It's an insult to Star Wars. Disney has essentially decided that they're going to use Star Wars just to make money. That's their sole purpose. And look, I'm not against a company making money, but you still have to provide good content for your consumers. And I find it difficult to believe that anyone can watch this show and either A, feel excited about what's to come in the future, or B, actually thinks this is a good show. And look, I know, not supposed to strike down. Everybody's entitled to feel the way they feel. And I know there's people that do essentially love the show. All I'm saying is I find it hard to believe based on what I saw, because I'm not speaking out of bias. I'm not speaking out of hate for Star Wars. I praise The Mandalorian. I was one of the few that liked the Boba Fett show up until The Mandalorian showed up, another bait and switch. And I liked The Force Awakens. I thought they were off to a good start and they fell off the rails after that. So I haven't been biased about I've been approaching this new Star Wars era much like every other thing I watch. And this show has made me realize, and Disney essentially has made me realize, they're going to put out the content they want to put out, and they're going to do things within that content to pull you in, whether it's nostalgia baiting, whether it's highlighting a character that we miss, any sort of those things. But those elements are not going to be the focus of the show, even if it's the title character. We've seen it in Loki. We've seen it in Hawkeye. We've seen it now in Obi-Wan. We've seen it in Boba Fett. It was done, I mean, the list goes on and on. It was done in Doctor Strange, the movie, right? It was more about Wanda than it was about Doctor Strange and a little bit of America Chavez. This is what they're doing. They want to show you what they want to show you, and they will use the characters you love to draw you in. That is what Disney's doing. I'm not down with it, and they can go fuck themselves. And we'll move on to more positive things that I have to say about some other shows.